Guys, this is Sirbot here, and I am on my blue count today fighting Basir on the Forgotten Post map.
New objective.
And so, yeah, as usual, we'll begin with the scouting. And yeah, you'll see it in a second here that this guy actually gets to this point in the map much faster than me. So I assume that he'll have most of the crates in this game, meaning that I might be behind in base development for most of it. So yeah. Either way, I send another scout up here, and I see that this guy is going for HQ3, as well as he has one factory level 1. And so, because of that, I assume that he will go for Hawks. And so, I am also going for a Vertex. Coyote, and he scouted my Avia factory. As you'll see, I built an anti-air here because even though it's still just a hunch that he's going Hawks, because of his build, it makes it look like he probably will. And so, just for insurance, I built this anti-air tower. And here, my suspicions are confirmed. He sends out a Hawk, and then he, mainly for scouting, and then he sends it back home. So as you see here, he is going for vehicle factory level 3 and 2 barracks level 1 and all at level 2. And he is also having porcupines out, and so because of this I go for Zeus, realizing that I want to be able to defend myself against an attack in case he goes for a porcupine, grenadier, and jaguar attack, because those can be extremely dangerous. And I also build a cyclone to take care of the scouts around my base. And so after sending those hawks this way, down through this forest, I realized that he probably has a scout over here too. Destroy! As well as right over here. And so you'll see that this cyclone is actually quite useful in multiple ways, because I send it here and it's able to take care of that scout. But you'll also see that I send my Vertex out to deal with the hawks that are bound to come out right after that cyclone, because of the dangers the cyclone poses to the visual of resistance. Because resistance is the information faction. If you do not have information and you don't know where the enemy army is and what the enemy is doing, then as resistance you'll probably lose. So limiting that information is better for the Confederation. And so you'll see that I assume that this red player will also probably be ahead of me in base production, and he's probably going to go for Chameleon soon. So I go for a shield of my own, because since my shield is pretty upgraded, the protection effect is maxed. It's able to keep my Zeus alive longer and allow them to do more damage to the resistance armies. So you'll see I make another cyclone to try to kill any scouts around. As you see, I was a bit late there, and so I was only able to catch one hawk, and I also lost a few of my Vertex, or one of my Vertex. So now, as you see, this guy actually did go for Chameleon, and I decided to try to attack that. But since that's going to take 3 hits if all 4 of my Vertex hit 3 times, I know that I am not going to be able to actually kill it, and so I just decided to retreat instead. And As you saw, those hawks, I wasn't able to catch any of them because my micro wasn't exactly the best here. And so I retreat them, and I decide to use a common recovery boost so that I can get their health back. You'll see I'm going for a second shield, and I'm also playing for Typhoons because I'm planning to attack him, as well as Typhoons are good for defending your army directly outside your base. From Avia, of course. As you saw, he killed that scout over here, and so I decided that that was suspicious. Because I usually kill scouts on my resistance with hawks whenever I'm planning to attack from that direction. And so I scouted this area, and of course, as you saw, those were chameleons over there, and I moved my army down to defend against that. Chameleon Jaguar here, Porcupine as well. I start force firing on their army, as well as moving my assaults in to try to get visuals on their units. You'll see here that I decided to force fire directly here because that's where I saw a bunch of Jaguars, and now he's retreating because he can't take this many Zeus on with what he had. As you see, I'm also going for Torrents, and I send my Vertex down to do a little bit of damage to his army. Hawks kill a Torrent, and yeah. I do something here that's also a little bit interesting. I set this construction yard here to place walls over here in case he decides to try to go around my base. So yeah, as you saw though, his army is here, and so because of that, you'll see me do something even more interesting. I actually decide to move my army down this way, and you'll see that I place a construction yard over here. This is 2120 in the game. And so you'll see that I continue to place construction yards down, and he has his chameleon army, his army with Jaguar Chameleon over here, and I have my Zeus shield Torrent over here. And I am building away from my base. This is a base trade strategy, because I realized that I probably wasn't going to be able to beat him in a head-on battle, considering his double factory as well as his chameleon, which is also extremely dangerous. I decided to go for a base trade strategy and make it so that it's so well planned out that he couldn't beat me in the base trade. So you'll see here that I actually get to his base first, and I'm able to just attack him head on. He doesn't have much of a defense, so it's pretty straightforward. And I am still building construction yards down here. As you see, he just arrived at my base, and this is why I decided to base trade. My base and my buildings are actually kind of weak here. You'll see that I built some rocket towers back here to try to defend against this a little bit and limit his army. But this construction yard here is also being built, and my Zeus are dealing with this guy's base. You'll see he stands no chance in actually beating me in this right there. But I spam barracks back here to make it seem like I'm trying to buy more time for myself, and he destroys my HQ, so I'm unable to do that anymore. Now I have a construction yard up here. As you see, my base is actually being wiped out faster than his is. And so I'm just still trying to deal with his buildings and units, and I go straight after his HQ now, because he keeps spamming riflemen and stuff, and so I don't want that anymore. As you see, he has a bunch of Jags over here, and 4 Chameleons, actually. And if you actually look at it, he wins this base trade if you discounted this construction yard. The reason this base trade was completely successful was because I planned it out in advance. I planned it about 2 minutes in advance of him. As you see, he's still trying to buy time, and he actually destroys my base much before I destroy his, even though I got to his first. As you'll see though, he is completely confused as to where my last building is. And right now, he is basically paralyzed. He can't do anything to finish the game. But I, who planned this in advance, was able to pull it off successfully just because I knew how to build away from my base and keep myself alive for as long as possible. So because of this one construction yard, victory. Anyways guys, if you enjoyed the battle, please hit the like button down below, and if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a great day.